Dai, por favor. Ti amo. Go. Hi guys, sorry about that. I should have had this stuff ready ahead of time. In case you're wondering what language I was just speaking, it's called Italian. So I wanted to talk to you guys about the steps in getting a service dog. There are some people who are faking, who don't realize that they're faking a service dog at that moment. This one girl brought her puppy to a store, and she thought she could do that because it's a service dog in training, but actually she by law could not have her dog there. First of all, ADA does not protect service dogs in training. Some states allow service dog in training, so look into your state and look into their guidelines for a service dog. Because for like Texas, which is Texas, you have to the dog has to know basic obedience. They have to know basic obedience. They have to be potty trained 100%. And they also have to be a year old and to have their first year rabies shots. So the first thing is service dog registries. Those are from scam websites. There is no official registry for the ADA. I will leave a link below for the ADA website so you can actually read more on your laws and know all your laws. It is very important. It is very important for you to know your laws, because people will try to deny you access when you have the right to be there. Mainly because they don't know, or they're just idiots. One of those two. They may know and just don't care. I've ran into a lady who I gave her my law card. She read it and then threw it back at me and told me that I needed to leave because she doesn't support the ADA. And I then told her, well, then we can call the cops, because that's called discrimination and you can get in huge trouble for it. So the first thing you need is doctor's note, basically stating that you require a service animal for your disabilities, and that basically if they also ask any questions, they can also call your doctor, that kind of stuff. By law, the only time that you will actually ever need to show this to someone is, say for instance, you're being charged as a fake. You can give them this in training records to prove that your dog is not a fake. That is why you need this stuff, is because it is proof that your dog is in fact a service dog. Now just a doctor's note does nothing. It doesn't prove your dog is a service dog. Anyone who has a disability can get a doctor's note or pay for a doctor's note online and not have a trained dog. Another thing that you need is your shot records for your dog. Basically just stating that your dog does have its rabies shots. This actually states that Minnie has more than his rabies shots, though, which I highly recommend, because you can get your dog the flu shot. The flu shot, flu for dogs. Dogs can get flu, and for them, it's a death sentence. People normally don't realize that their dog has flu until it's too late, and it results in the dog's death. Sadly. Basically, this is another proof of rabies, that he does have his rabies shots. So you do need proof that your dog has his rabies shots. You don't have to have the tag on your dog because there are a lot of people use training collars on service dogs, and it is actually dangerous to have that tag on your service dog if it has the training collar on. The next thing that you need is training records. I also have a log, but it's on my computer, and I haven't printed it out yet. The log goes back for like 2.5 years of training. Yeah. But this is proof that he's been trained. This is the dog. This is a dog certificate for beginner obedience. And then this one's for the American Canine Good Citizens test, which he passed. And that's for passing the test. Plus, I haven't sent it in, but I'm sending the information in for the test tomorrow. I just found it. It was put into a box and ended up going to storage, and so I have to resend it. You don't have to get your dog CGC tested. You don't have to get your dog CGA tested or CGU tested. Now, like I said, service dogs in training are not protected by the ADA, but they may be by your state. So look into what your state laws are, and also know your ADA laws inside and out. Even though it takes in between 2 to 3 years to train a service dog, definitely start going ahead and looking at your laws, learning your laws, so you know, and that you can get them through your head and know, hey, I'm allowed to be here. You can't ask me to leave unless my dog's, acting out of control. Just so you know your laws inside and out. Another thing that you need is you need to go figure out what tasks will help you before you ever get a dog. The reason is because some tasks small dogs can only do, some tasks only big dogs can do. Then there's some tasks that all dogs can do. So definitely look into your task. A good example is light pressure therapy. Only small dogs can do light pressure therapy. Deep pressure therapy, only big dogs can do deep pressure therapy. Another thing is mobility work. A small dog cannot do mobility, anything with that. Guide dogs. A small dog cannot be a guide dog. So those are good examples. So look into your task, mark what tasks that you think you need and that you think will help you, whether you know for sure or not, and the tasks that you know for sure that will help you. So you can go about trying to find what breed. Once you find out if you need a small dog, get down. Down. Sorry about that. I'm still working with teaching him down. He's a puppy. One of the things that I really consider is once you find out if you need a small dog or a big dog, then you need to figure out your living, what fits your living. Okay, do you live in an apartment or do you live in a house? If you live in an apartment, there are very, very few big dogs that are actually okay for apartments. But there are very few that do good in apartment life. There are even some small dogs that don't do good in apartment life, so definitely look into breeds that do good in apartment life if you do live in an apartment. The size of your yard definitely matters. Some dogs need a big, big backyard. Another thing that you need to look into is grooming. How much does the dog need to take baths, if you can give them that many baths, because each breed is different on how many baths they require. And a service dog has to be kept clean, especially since you're going to be going places with food. So you need to look into that. You need to look at grooming. How much grooming do they require? Do they require daily grooming or do they require weekly grooming? And what you can actually handle on the care. Look into how much exercise the dog takes. If you can give a dog a lot of exercise, if you can give the dog a little bit of exercise, because dogs that need a lot of exercise, dog breeds that need a lot of exercise, if they don't get that exercise, they will become extremely rowdy, destructive. They will not be good as a service dog because of that. Then also, you need to also look at trainability. Some breeds are harder to train than others. Some are easy, some are in between easy and hard, and some are really hard to train. So definitely look into it. For example, Mini Boat, he's a Maltese. Maltese tend to be stubborn, but once they get a task down, they get it down like that. So they tend to be in between. Some days they're hard to train, some days they're easy to train. Some days they don't want to listen to a thing you say, and you have to make them listen. So definitely look into that. Look into whether you want to owner train. You want an owner trained dog or a program trained dog. If you want a program trained dog, definitely tell them what you're looking for so they can help you. Most program trained dogs will not go under a dog that's under 20 pounds because there is a lot of problems with people assuming small dogs are fakes when small dogs can be service dogs. Sadly, most of our fake service dogs are small. Sorry. Another thing that you want to look into when doing that, if you want to do owner training, you do want to make sure you know of trainers in your area who can help you when you come across a problem. Know of some behavioralists off your hand when there becomes a problem, so that way you can go to them for help. If you do decide you want to owner train, before you ever pick up a puppy, you need to do a test to show There's a test, and I'll leave a link below. You can give it to the dog yourself, or you can have the breeder give it to the dog. You need to do that test to see if that dog would be a good candidate as a service dog. Not all dogs are capable of being service dogs. So definitely do that test before you bring the puppy home. I suggest not just doing it on the puppy, but doing it with the parents as well. If both parents don't pass, I don't suggest getting the puppy, because a lot of the behavioral traits that mom and dad have move on to the puppy. And so if a mom dog tends to act violent towards, say for instance, men, then there's a chance the puppy may start in the future acting violent towards men. Obsessive barking, that can be another. So definitely do it on the parents as well as the puppy. Make sure that the puppy passes and the parents pass. That way you will have a higher chance of that dog becoming a service dog without doing what's called washing it. Washing it does not mean bathing it. It means, basically it means that that dog cannot be a service dog, so it just becomes a pet. They quit training. It's pretty much like saying they failed. So they become a pet, and then you have to turn around and find a new dog. And then you end up, a lot of times you'll end up with 2 instead of 1. So if you don't want to end up with more than 1 dog, or don't want to end up with the fact that you may have to rehome that dog afterwards, I really highly suggest doing both of those tests. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do plan on getting a service dog, I wish you good luck. It is a lot of work. There's a lot that we'll be getting used to. I remember practicing in the mirror what to say to people because I was so nervous and anxious and have so much anxiety when they would confront me. The longer you go on, the more you will get confident, because you do know your laws and you know you have the right to be there. The more anxious you sound, sadly, the less serious you are taken. They don't consider in the fact that the anxiousness might be a part of your disability. People don't consider that. They just think, okay, this person is lying, that's why they're being anxious. Bye. Have a nice day.